man. So, Qudsak with Rainmen. This one meant a lot. And it's not many, a lot of people who I collaborate with, it's peers, and to collaborate with Rainmen, it's like, wow, I've been fans of you guys since the late 90s when I was just a little kid, so that's what was really cool about that. To get the opportunity to do an interview, to get the opportunity to DJ for them was really wonderful, and that meant a lot to me. But to do a track, that's a whole other thing, and that's why I got to start this video just by saying that, because that goes, first things first, right? But yeah, man, so Qudsak, that track, basically Naufrage came through, and because Utra doesn't live in the city, right? So Naufrage is the one to come through and to go through the beats and to kind of make the beat selection for the track. So he came through, and there was two beats he was really feeling, and there was, so basically he chose two beats, and one was to be, he's like, this one I would like to be a Rainmen track, and we had already spoken about possibly doing a collaboration with Lo Pesci. So the other beat that he chose, he's like, that one's gonna be the Lo Pesci collaboration track, and this one will be our track, just the Rainmen track. So I was like, yeah, for sure, like let's do it, man. And so with the beat that got chosen, what was dope about that beat is that when I made that beat, I hadn't even pressed save on that beat. It was on MPC 3000, so I hadn't even pressed save on it or did the whole save thing, and I was like, man, I really want to hear some scratching on it. So and I don't normally do that when I make beats. I kind of make my thing, put it aside, and but I was like, yo, I'm gonna record the scratching directly into the MPC and have it as part of the beat. And then when that got played, and the guys were just like, yo, we're just gonna keep that as the hook, you know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, like, cool, you guys like it that much that, like, you just keep that as like a main part of the joint. So that was dope. And then the day that Utra was like recording his vocals, he was sitting there and he was mumbling something that I knew wasn't his verse, and I was like, yo, like, whoa, what did you just do there? Can I hear that again? Like, can we try that like on the beat, like behind the scratching maybe? So we didn't put it in the first hook, but we put it in the second hook, and it really, to me, was like the added flavor that gave the track like a good outro without even trying to be. It was just like I heard something that he was, just kind of like working on, and it just ended up being, sounding right. So shout out to Utra for, working with me on that, and even allowing that little producer to, come through. And so a little bit of time passed, and then Naufrage was like, yeah, so I'm gonna come through, I'm gonna lay down my vocals, because we're basically gonna do a 2-2 back and forth. And that, I was like, oh, that's gonna be some dope energy, because their energy is already great, but to know that they're gonna go back and forth, I was like, okay, this is gonna be nice. So he came through, laid down his vocals, and then when Utra came into town, he laid down his vocals, and just then I could really, once I heard both, it was like, okay, now I really see what this track is. And that also happened to be the same day that we were shooting the video, so Utra came through, laid down the vocals for Qudsak, laid down the vocals for a different track called Coquille Saint-Jacques, and then we went out and shot the video that day, shot part of the video here that you could probably recognize a couple of spots in this, and then we, shot a couple spots around DG, and then went to the, classic ice wall, but yeah, man, it was dope to have them record the track here, and even to do part of the video here in the basement. So it was, I appreciate that. I appreciate the connecting with artists, not just like sending things back and forth, it's actually, getting together and making it organic. So the shoot was a lot of fun, a lot of great energy, a couple of great spots. And in terms of gear, big shout out to North Face for hooking me up with a beautiful jacket last year, the Cause Nupsy. Great jacket. And when going through all my sneakers, I was like, what am I gonna rock with this jacket? Because the colors are kind of crazy, but Air Max 95 Neon, for the win. And big shout out to Rainmen for, you know, staying the rough, rugged, and raw with those Tims, man. You know, that's what they've been doing since the late '90s. So it's like, shout out to them for you know, sticking to their guns and representing.
Great.
Before I forget, I want to give a big shout out to the, you know, we're basically at. I chose this spot. I was like, yo, we should go to this spot next to where I grew up, because they still have this old bus shelter that's like a bus shelter that exists from before I was born. You know what I mean? And so, like, we don't know how long we're gonna have these little things around. You know, it's like, so I was like, well, let's go shoot part of the video there, and they're down. So we went there. We're shooting the part, and I could feel this car kind of like creeping up and kind of like posting up, but I don't want to turn yet because I feel, you know, we're in the middle of a shot. And then when we finish that shot, the guy comes up and he's like, hey, see you guys like doing the video in the old school bus shelter. Would you like a couple of pit bulls for your video? And we just look into this car, and there's like these two massive heads just sticking out the front windshield. I'm just like, okay, yeah. Like, we look at each other like, of course, man. Like, how can we say no? You know, like, you know. So it was just dope that, you know, they came through, and they, you know, the dogs were really nice. And shout out to homie, man. You know who you are. And he was just happy to just add to the scene. So shout out to the big dogs. You know, thank you. And match the energy. It really gave a nice intro to the video that we didn't plan out, you know. So, and, you know, shout out to the people at the Dep who let us, you know, do our thing as well. And yeah, man, Qudsak.